Hi everyone, and welcome to this last masterclass from the series. Today we are going to talk about how to create your irresistible message. This masterclass is really important for me because I really believe the messaging is the element of your marketing strategy that needs to work really hard. That's going to help you convert your target audience. So today we'll explore the importance of magnetic messaging and how it can transform your business. While creating an irresistible offer is crucial, you need a clear message to communicate the value of what you offer to your target audience. So I always say having a irresistible offer is very important, but equally having a irresistible message or magnetic message is equally important. They go both hand in hand. If you have a poor message but irresistible offer, then it's going to be very hard to attract and convert people. And if your message is great but the offer is terrible, then it's also going to be very hard for you to convert. So the ultimate goal is develop the messaging framework to move your ideal customers from curious to convinced your product is their best fit. So not a small task, but messaging can do that in a very effective way. And I'm going to explain everything to you in the upcoming slides. So that's my three steps marketing framework that I use with my clients to help them attract, convert, and engage their ideal customers. And that was quite important for me today to show you what exactly I do. So clarify is the first step. So clarify is basically building the foundation for your marketing. So it's getting to know you and yourself and your business. So why you do what you do, your mission, your dream client, your product's differentiated value, the price strategy, and then unlocking all that strategy, which is, packaging your offer, the irresistible message framework, so put the message together, the USP value proposition, and so on. And then we have the implement phase, which is really building your content strategy, updating your website, your social media channels, and make a plan for the future as well. So when you leave that program, you you are very clear into what is it that you need to do in terms of marketing, and you have a proper strategy. So today we are going to focus on the irresistible message framework, so the USP and value proposition. And the reason is that, this program is a 3 month program. So there is a lot, and we cannot run through everything today. So today we are really going to focus on the messaging. And so why a magnetic message is important. And it's essentially why I want to dedicate a whole masterclass about messaging. It's because the messaging has powers. It's very powerful. It can captivate your audience. So a strong message draws your target audience in and keeps them engaged. It builds trust as well. So compelling messaging establishes credibility and trust with potential customers. And you need to remember, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So that's through messaging and content that we'll be able to really establish that credibility, trust, make sure people like you, and so on. It drives conversion. So a well-crafted message can persuade customers to take action, whether it's making a purchase or signing up for a newsletter, and differentiates your brand. So a unique and memorable message helps your brand stand out from competition. Then, so signs of messaging is off. And the reason why I want you to understand the signs is because sometimes we think our messaging is great and it's not resonating with the right people. So it's quite important to be aware of the signs so that, if something is wrong, you can identify and, identify the reasons and maybe wonder if the message could be the reason of, something not working for you. like not attracting customers, for example. So it will translate into people are lacking, saving and commenting in your content, but in the DM, it's cricket, like it's nothing. No one is asking about you and your products. People say they are going to buy, but never hear from them again. Some of the clients you are working with are not your dream clients, and they ask questions that drain your energy. Then, when you're getting people on sales calls, you need to convince them to buy your offer. So you see, it's mainly a lot around putting a lot of effort to try and sell, when basically the messaging can do this work for you when it's well executed and you have the right message in place. So one little exercise I want you to do to help you get that messaging right, and we're not going to do it now, but that's for you to take away after this masterclass, is the elevator pitch practice. Why? It's because I want you to think you have only 30 seconds to explain your product or service, and that will force you to choose the most important thing about your product and service. That will force you to think a little bit more about your product and service and how you want to present them to your audience. So practice your pitch until you can deliver it confidently and concisely, and use this as a foundation for your messaging. So that's a really good exercise to start with. If you don't know what to start with, I will highly suggest do that. I will, of course, run through the framework with you further on the masterclass, but just thought I would share this if you want to try and start. So common mistakes businesses make in their messages. The first common mistake I usually see my client make is you are speaking to your audience problems and not their symptoms. So let me explain quickly. I'm sure you see this all the time online, people saying you need to speak to your audience problems and your offer needs to solve their problems. And while that's true, no one is telling you that the customer journey actually starts even before your audience know they have a problem. So talking about their symptoms is really good because they might not identify to the problem, but they will identify to the symptoms. And what I mean by symptoms is basically how the problem is showing up in their lives. So to give you an example, I have clients coming to me all the time because they are struggling to find new clients, they are struggling to grow their businesses. And so how it's showing up for them is, well, they are struggling to make more money, generate more revenue. They are, database is stagnating, so they're not finding any new clients, or maybe very little amount of new clients. So you see, for a person, for example, who wants to lose weight but not managing to lose weight, the symptoms could be around, struggling to exercise and eat well, and so they're not losing weight, or they're not exercising and they lack energy because of this sick. So I mean, I might be saying something wrong. I'm not a nutritionist or a specialist in weight loss, but you know what I mean by symptoms. It's really how it's showing up in their lives. You are not speaking to the emotions of your target audience, and I am going to emphasize that in my masterclass today because the emotions are really important for me. 95% of buying decisions are made by our unconscious brain, basically, so by our emotions, and we're not realizing it because it's a process that happens in our brain, but this is really what happens. 95% of buying decisions are made by emotions, so it's really important to understand and speak to the emotion of your target audience. You are being too generic in your message and content, and this is a mistake I see many businesses make. Being too generic is not good. It's like if you want to target everyone, well, you're gonna end up not speaking to nobody, basically. So if everyone is your customers, nobody is your customers. This is what I always say to my clients. And the reason for that is because It's very difficult to speak to someone and for that person to relate to what you're saying because the message is so generic. So, the more precise and the more the more precise and the more you will be specific in your message. That's the word I was looking for, specific in your message, the more your audience will be able to identify to what you're saying. So focusing on features instead of benefits. So that's more like product or services related kind of message. So it's like, we all have a phone. So the feature is being able to call or send message. But the real benefit of having a phone is that you can keep in touch with your loved ones, no matter where they live in the world. And people will identify to that. So if you say, oh, we've created this brand new phone, look at this, it's amazing, it's beautiful, you can call with it. Everyone will be, yeah, well, okay, yeah, but I can call with, any kind of phone. But if you speak to really the emotion and say, with this phone, you can stay in touch with your loved ones and take amazing pictures. I don't know, like it really speaks like capture more around like capturing family moments, like, keep the memory alive with the pictures. Like people will be attracted to that. So ignoring your target audience. So tailor your message to the specific needs and desires of your ideal customers. So we're going back a little bit to what I was saying when I was saying you being too generic in your message and content. So those two are linked. If you're ignoring your target audience and don't know your target audience, then your message will be very generic. So make sure you know who you're talking to. And your message is not consistent across all channels. So that's really important to have a consistent message across channels, because customer will start to get to know your brand. If you are consistent across channels, they will be able to identify your brand and you and your service across all your channel. It will also help you build trust and credibility if you stay consistent. If you have, different, I don't know, logo or different kind of message, people will be very confused and they will probably give up and end up not really trusting you because of that lack of consistency. So you are not speaking to the emotion of your dream clients. So going back to the mistakes, I'm going to pick a few and unpack them for you and tell you what is it actually you need to do to speak to the emotion of your dream clients. That's a topic I'm really passionate about. So identify the positive emotions your persona will experience as your solution deliver results. And that's a good place to start. Try to understand what people feel when they use your product or service. And like we say, it needs to be positive emotions. So try to understand, do they feel joyful, relieved, respected, empowered, skilled, confident, attractive, or in control? So effective messaging helps your persona envision life where positive outcomes are achievable and rewarding. So make sure in your message, you're basically helping people imagine the life after using your product once you've solved their problems. So that's how you can help them imagine the positive outcomes and help them picture how achievable it is. So that's really important. And your message, it's pretty much the only thing that can do that. And that's why messaging is so important, because you need to really communicate that with your audience if you want them to stop scrolling and have a look at your solution and consider also your solution as the their solution for their problems. So why emotion matters. And so to help you picture why emotion matters so much, I have I did a little comparison of two messages. So you can really see what I'm on about. They're not the perfect message, but it will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So the traditional message, so we are, let's say, personalized meal plan for busy mom. And the traditional messaging will be our meal plans are healthy and convenient. And you will say, well, that's great, great. But the marketing message will be, imagine having delicious, nutritious meals ready for your family every night without the stress of cooking. Our personalized meal plan take the hassle out of meal prep so you can spend more time with your kids. So you see what we've done here? It's surely longer, but I'm sure you can tell straight away that is much more compelling. And then if you see this kind of message, you want to stop scrolling and learn more, because it's focusing on the emotional benefits of the products. It's reducing stress and more family time, while the traditional message simply states the features. And the reason why, even if for you it seems quite obvious, it is not for the audience. So you really have to express that, how it's going to improve their life. They need to know that this is what you are providing. So much more than personalized meal plan, you actually reducing stress and give them some more family time back, which is much more valuable than just meal plan, which is healthy and convenient. So that's why you have to focus on really, really communicate that end outcome and the emotional benefit of your project. So now, serious stuff, the marketing messaging framework. So I am going in this section, explain a little bit more on the elements that you need for your messaging and the framework. So I'm going to unveil, exceptionally in that masterclass, the framework that I use to help my client put their message together. It's a simple framework that will really help you get started with your message. And so create a messaging framework. So a product messaging framework summarizes the most compelling messages you will use to attract, convert, and engage your ideal customers. You need to see it as a source of truth summary that guides the messaging they use across customer touchpoint. So this messaging framework that I'm going to show you, you need to keep it. I myself personally have created one for my business and I literally use it every day. So keep it, work on it and really keep it on the side, like even print it and put it somewhere where it's like really visual and then you can see it, because it's a lot of work that will go into that. It's not very complicated, your business, and it's going to be very easy to fill in the blanks, but it's easier if you have it there. And when I say a source of truth summary, it's because we're going to unpack everything from your message, from your unique selling points to bringing some proof points into that. And then you'll see I'm going to exactly to show you how. And this will guide the messaging that you will use across the different platforms. So when I say customer touch point, is all the platforms your customer will get across. So your social media, Instagram, for example, or LinkedIn, or whatever social media you use, to your website, to buying your products, to your email, if you have emails as well. So the main three components is promise. So the promise is your USP. Succinctly describes who your product is for, what outcome you promise, and how your product is differentiated. So that first one is really important. That's the one you are likely to use in the hero image or the header of the website, because it's really describing exactly what is it you deliver, who is it for, and how it differentiates. So people will want to scroll and get to know more about exactly what is it that you have to offer. And they don't really need to know much more than that. Then the benefits. So the benefit, to showcase the benefit of your what exactly you offer, you will need to create 3 value proposition statements and that describe the most desirable benefits your product delivers for your ideal customers. So these are the main messages you want your persona to remember about your product because they highlight its differentiated value. And I'm going to deep dive again a little bit more into that one as well. And then the last one is proof. So you need to share evidence to validate the product can deliver this result. So proof points that build credibility for your product and your company. Sorry. So that's really important. Again, the proof points is not all about saying, remember, customers don't really trust businesses. And at that point, if customers only find you and they don't know you, it is unlikely they're going to, straight away trust you. So you need to build that trust, and bringing proof point will help you build the trust and validate the claims that you are saying about your products. So ta-da! Here is the framework. So I know there's a lot of elements and a lot of lines. Don't be scared. It's quite easy. You know your products, you know what you deliver. So it's going to be quite easy to fill in. So the project name is just, I've just put it there. You don't have to use that line. But it's in case you have multiple products, you're going to have to have one framework per product, really. So if you have multiple products, just add your product name, personal description. Again, don't go into details. You should have by now, before using this framework, you should have basically this fictional dream client avatar that you should have created, which gives you, paid points, desires, motivations, and so on. So just a brief description of something that is useful, it can be my target audience is busy mom in their 40s, for example. Then the USP, so the unique selling point. Then you have the benefit of your product, the value proposition, the social proof, data and information. So data and information is like any data that you've got, like customer satisfaction rates, or any data that can help you back up your claim. It can be third-party data as well. But today we are going to focus on unique selling point and value proposition. I haven't highlighted benefits, but of course, because everything is so linked, we're going to touch into the benefit a little bit as well. So the USP, so to define your USP, the unique selling point, so that's the message that will help you differentiate yourself from the competition. I have added a simple framework that you can start using, and I am not saying you absolutely have to use that framework specifically, but it's just to help you build that USP. And that's, I think, a very good starting point if you don't have that. So let's unpack. Product. So product, what do I mean by product? So it's clearly stating the name or core benefit of your product or service. So personalized meal plan, for example. You don't have to state clearly the name. You can also state the core benefit, depending on, it's case by case, basically, depending on what your product is and how you want to communicate to the audience. Then you have category. So the category is market or industry. So specify the broad category your product or service falls into. So it can be health and wellness app, for example. So in here, the category is really around the app as well. Differentiator. So the unique selling points highlight what sets your product or service apart from your competitors. This could be a feature, benefit, or approach. And as an example, it can be tailored to individual dietary needs and preferences. And then the fourth is the ideal customer, so who you are basically targeting. So the specific group of people you want to reach, that's your dream client in here. And so it can be busy working mom who want to eat healthier but struggle with time constraints. So let's have a look how it looks like when we put everything together. Our personalized meal plan app is a solution tailored to individual dietary needs and preferences for busy working moms. So you see how it all unveils, and it's quite compelling. You've got everything in one sentence. It's short, it's compelling, everything is there in one sentence. And so if someone lands on your website and see that, then they know it's an app. So they're gonna have to download the app. Tailored to individual diet, so they know it's going to be tailored to their dietary needs and preferences, and they know it's aimed at busy working moms. So if, for example, I don't know, a businessman, a man in his 50s land on your website, he will probably get that, okay, that's not really for me. That's not the solution for him. So although probably most of the advice that you put on there will probably be relevant to him, but your target audience is really busy working moms. So that's not really someone who necessarily will enjoy your service, for example. So create a messaging framework. And the second part was the value proposition. So the value proposition is the value you promise to deliver to your customers post-purchase. So that's really the outcome. It's the reason people buy from you, what makes your product or service attractive and better than whatever your competitors are coming up with. So the role of the effective value proposition is that it shares strong claims about the benefit of using your products. These benefits reinforce how your product achieves the outcome you promised in your USP and what makes your product both desirable and unique. So value proposition also provide a structure that communicates the value of your key features. They create a consistent, comprehensive way to talk about your product advantages. And so think of value proposition as three pillars supporting your USP. So remember in the framework, we had the USP at the top as the overarching message and then three different value propositions. And so that's why I'm saying think of the value proposition as three pillars supporting your USP. Each pillars need to work hard on its own, and together you need to fully support and deliver your USP big promise. So you've done that promise in your USP, like we have in the example of our app is providing tailored dietary needs and requirements to busy working moms. So the promise is deliver tailored dietary requirements for busy working moms. And so the value proposition, we need to support that. So it's essentially explaining the value you are going to deliver to be able to deliver the outcome. So if you cut one, you would leave out a benefit that is particularly enticing to your ideal customer, and your product may seem too similar to your competitor's solution. And that's because you may have specific benefits that your customers will want to know about, of course. So an effective value proposition meets three criteria. It's pain focused, specific, and exclusive. And here's how, that's the formula for a specific value proposition. And again, like we say, value proposition, so it needs to convey your product's value in just a few phrases. So you'll have product or service. So your product or service helps target audience, benefit, buy, and then how you differentiate from the competition. So that's really the formula you can use. Again, that's a formula that I'm giving you to get you started, but you don't need to really follow that specific framework if you have another idea. So that's just a framework. I'd say what's important to have is really communicating on the benefit and the differentiator again. So it's kind of, I can deliver this benefit to you because, and that's my differentiation. I have, I don't know, 3 steps framework that my competitor doesn't have. I have an app where you can, um, under your dietary requirements, and that's how you can get, a personalized meal plan and so on. So really be specific on the differentiation and how it's helping to fulfill this benefit. So grow your business in 90 days. So that's why I'm basically delivering to my clients. And that's why I've presented at the beginning of this masterclass the 3 pillars, the 3 steps that I use to help my client attract and streamline their marketing efforts to achieve sustainable growth. And the reason why I'm putting it here is because so we've run through the messaging and I've presented a little bit how you can, of course, create this magnetic message for your business. But I want to remind yourself that you really need to, before working on that messaging, really clarify and work on the foundation of your marketing. So make sure you're crystal clear on who is your dream client, what's your differentiated value, and the irresistible offer as well. You need to have a package offer. It's easier to put the message together if you have an idea of exactly what's the offer for your target audience. Thank you for watching this masterclass. If you've liked this content, please hit the subscribe button down below, and I will provide with more marketing advice and top tips from me. Thank you.